On Monday's practice, we normally do a lot of technique work. One of the pieces of techniques that we do use is takeoff and touchdown. It's very important in regards to the efficiency of clearance. And what I would normally do for the men is I will go ahead and measure from the base of the hurdle out to 7 feet 3 inches. There's been a lot of talk in regards to how far out a hurdler should take off. But you have to kind of look and take note of the hurdler that you have, his height, his speed, his strength. Therefore, once you do multiple runs, all right, you'll have a lot of information on where he takes off and where he lands. You can go ahead and take that information and find the information that has been done by the biomechanics and see how efficient or where he should be or where she should be. So I've taken all those numbers and I've gotten to a point of where I know where Terrence should take off, and I've gotten to a point where I know Vanette should take off. I'll add these cones for a visual reference. We want to add this to as many hurdles as possible. But remember, you should take note on how far they're taking off from, mark it down, and stay with that. Now, throughout the time that you're coaching a hurdler, he or she will get stronger, faster, and these may change a little bit. So it's good to go ahead and keep records. It's good to go ahead and make sure that you are filming. Film is extremely important. That way you can see how they land, where they take off. You can see their arm actions and leg actions. You can change a lot of things at this point when you film. With the women's hurdles also, there's also a particular takeoff point and touchdown point. But obviously, because of gender differences, hey, the women would take off a little bit closer to the hurdle than the men. A normal takeoff point for the women will be right at about 6 feet 4 inches. We put this down. And then on the back side of the hurdle, since hurdle flight is so much shorter than the men, we can actually have the women touch down a lot closer. Their flight pattern is shorter and lower. So you would like the women to touch down a whole lot closer to the hurdle than the men because they're able to. And on the back side of the hurdle, you're looking at about 34 inches. 34 inches. So again, we'll have a cone represent takeoff point and touchdown point. But obviously doing this, coach must come out to the track a lot earlier than normal to make sure he gets this down. So practice can start on time, otherwise you'll be starting maybe 20 minutes later. Again, women, we're looking at about 6 feet 4 inches on the front side of the hurdle. And this is really when you would like to make sure you have someone filming the workout, because you're putting down the visual markers, and with these down, it's great to go back to the office and look and see where they're at. And you have a measured distance for takeoff and a measured distance for touchdown. As we move on to this part of practice where we will go ahead and focus on the flight of the hurdle, most important will be the takeoff and touchdown. They have been measured, all right, and so the cones actually represent the distance in front and behind the hurdles. You can actually visually see them, and again, I would advise that if you have a camcorder, this is an important part of you to film and take this back home to watch with your athletes. Takeoff points for the men, we're looking at about 7'3" in front of the hurdle and 4 feet behind. We would like that to be 3 feet and some change behind, but this is the part that you work on that with. With the women, we're looking at about 6 feet 4 inches in front and 36 inches behind. We can get women to touch down at 30 inches behind. With the tape down, this gives them a visual also. Again, with the camcorder that you can take back, that you have a visual, and if you can go ahead and have her activate her lead leg a lot faster, you can get her down in the 20s. In this particular session, we're not so much focused on the speed, but the accuracy. we're trying to cut down as much flight time as possible. With these numbers that have come from biomechanics around the world, hey, we can adjust, we can hit, we can go ahead and fit this for Terrence so he can be as efficient as possible over the hurdle. These hurdle runs are about the efficiency of flight. We're looking at touchdowns, takeoff and touchdown, on, on. Exactly the same for the women. Takeoff and touchdown. Takeoff and touchdown. Our upper body position is extremely important. Get the lead down. There we go. Beautiful. Touchdown perfectly off the hurdle.